Confronted my toxic parents about $15,000 missing from my cafe, funding Ethan's business trips. They gaslight me, saying it's a family business. Grandma would have wanted this. Dad defends the theft as investments. Later, when my daughter suffers an allergic reaction after my entitled brother Ethan leaves nuts unattended, he sneers. Kids exaggerate. I vow to take my revenge, and soon they found out the hard way to not mess with this single mother. My phone blew up with 37 missed calls. I was elbow deep in dishwater when Ethan decided to film his latest TikTok masterpiece. Of course he did. Because God forbid a single mom gets 5 minutes to scrub caramel drizzle off a blender without her entitled brother turning the cafe into his personal content studio. Yo, check this out. Ethan shouted, holding his phone at arm's length like it was the Holy Grail. He dragged 2 of his loser friends into the cafe again, and they were lounging at the counter, sipping my lattes they hadn't paid for. Again. We're gonna prank the next customer who walks in. Lily, get over here and pretend to cry when I accidentally spill this. My 4-year-old daughter perched on a stool coloring. Didn't even look up. No, Uncle Ethan. Mommy says pranks are mean. Atta girl. Ethan rolled his eyes. Whatever. Your kid's boring, Maya. He grabbed a fresh latte off the counter, my counter in my cafe, and dumped it down the front of some poor college kid who just walked in for a study session. The guy yelped, his textbooks now dripping with oat milk, while Ethan's friends howled like hyenas. Ethan, I snapped, tossing the dish rag onto the counter. Get out, now. Relax, it's just content, he said, smirking. Grandma would have wanted me to promote this dump. Grandma, right. The woman who left me this cafe in her will, not him. The woman who knew Ethan would have sold the place for crypto within a week. But try telling that to my parents, who'd guilt-tripped me into letting them help manage the place after she died. Help manage. More like help themselves to the register, while Ethan treated the place like his personal frat house. Speaking of which, Mom's shrill voice cut through the chaos from upstairs. Maya, did you restock the oat milk? You know your father can't have dairy. I clenched my jaw. They lived rent-free in the apartment above the cafe, a temporary arrangement that had lasted 3 years. Temporary my ass. They'd sold their own house to fund Ethan's failed DJ career and then cried family loyalty when I tried to set boundaries. Toxic parents, 101. It's in the fridge, Mom. I called back, fake cheerful. The college kid stormed out, muttering about suing. Ethan's phone was still rolling. Dude, that was gold, one of his friends said, high-fiving him. I wanted to chuck the dish rag at his face. Instead, I knelt by Lily's stool. You okay, bub? She nodded, holding up her drawing, a lopsided coffee cup with wings. It's Grandma's cafe, flying away, she said. Kid's smarter than all of us. The bell over the door jingled, and Mrs. Ruiz walked in, her usual 3 p.m. chamomile tea in hand. Retired teacher, widow, and the closest thing I had to a guardian angel. She took one look at Ethan's smirk and my death grip on the dish rag and sighed. Mija, you need a raise. From who? Myself. I laughed, but it came out brittle. Ethan slung an arm around Mrs. Ruiz before she could sit. Ay, abuelita, want to be in my video? I'll make you famous. She swatted him off with her purse. I'd rather eat a cactus. God, I loved her. By closing time, my feet felt like they'd been run over by Ethan's ego. I was scrubbing espresso grounds out of the sink when Lily tugged my apron. Mommy, can I have a muffin? Sure, bug. Grab the one with the pink sprinkle. I turned just in time to see her bite into a pistachio croissant. The one Ethan had left on the counter after his little photo shoot. The one with nuts. Lily, you know. I lunged, knocking the pastry out of her hand. Her eyes widened, lips already swelling. It's spicy, she whimpered. Adrenaline shot through me. I fumbled for the EpiPen in my apron, always in the apron, never let it out of sight, and jabbed it into her thigh. Her tiny body jerked, and I clutched her to my chest, heart hammering. You're okay, you're okay, you're okay. The door upstairs slammed. Ethan clomped down, laughing at something on his phone. Yo, did you see the views on that prank? Call 911. I screamed. He froze. What the hell? Lily's allergic. I told you 1,000 times. And no nuts on the counter. Jesus, Maya, calm down. Kids exaggerate. I never wanted to punch someone so badly in my life. The ambulance came. The paramedics stabilized her. The whole time my parents stood in the corner, arms crossed. You're overreacting, Dad said. She's fine. She could have died. Mom rolled her eyes. Ethan didn't mean it. You know how he gets carried away? Carried away, right? Like when he got carried away and crashed Dad's car at 17. Or when he got carried away and dropped out of community college. But God forbid I get carried away wanting basic safety for my kid. Later, after the hospital discharged Lily and my parents went to bed, we're exhausted from all the drama, Maya. I sat alone in the dark cafe. Lily's EpiPen taunted me from the counter. So did the ledger. I hadn't checked the books in weeks, too busy putting out fires, but something Mrs. Ruiz said earlier nagged at me. Mija, why's your brother driving a BMW if this place is struggling? I flipped open the laptop, scrolled through the accounts, and there it was, $15,000 missing over the past 6 months. Transfers labeled supplies and repairs. But the repairs coincided with Ethan's Instagram post from Miami, and the supplies matched the down payment on his stupid car. My hand shook. Toxic parents, entitled siblings, a family business bleeding money so Ethan could play influencer. Lily's crumpled drawing sat on the counter, the cafe with wings. Tom a fly, I whispered. I waited until Lily was asleep, her stuffed unicorn tucked under one arm and the hospital bracelet still looped around her tiny wrist, before I stormed upstairs. My parents' apartment reeked of my dad's cigars and the lavender air freshener Mom sprayed like it was holy water. They were on the couch, watching reruns of some reality show where people screamed about cake. Perfect. We need to talk, I said, slamming the ledger down on the coffee table. Dad didn't look up. Can it wait? This is the finale. No, it can't. I flipped open the ledger, jabbing my finger at the $15,000 hole. Care to explain why Ethan's business trips are coming out of my cafe? Mom paused the TV. Finally, your cafe? Maya, sweetheart, this is a family business. Your grandmother would have wanted us all to share. Share? You mean let Ethan steal? Don't be dramatic, Dad said, lighting another cigar. The smoke curled toward me like a threat. Your brother's promoting the place. Those trips are investments. Investments in what? His Instagram tan. Mom's lips tightened. You're being paranoid. We've always supported you. Letting you live here, helping with Lily. I pay the mortgage. I run this place. You don't let me do anything. Dad snorted. Without us, you'd have crashed and burned in a month. Remember your little cupcake phase? What was it? Rainbow sprinkles and bankruptcy. I flinched. 2 years ago, I tried updating the menu. Dad had accidentally unplugged the freezer, ruining $500 worth of inventory. Stick to coffee, Maya. You're not a real baker. This isn't about cupcakes, I said, voice steady. It's about theft, and I want the deed. Grandma left the cafe to me. Not you. Not Ethan. Mom's laugh was sharp enough to cut glass. The deed? Honey, legal stuff takes time. We're handling it. It's been 3 years. And whose fault is that? Dad said, leaning forward. You've been too busy playing single mom to focus on paperwork. Playing, like Lily was a doll and not a human who almost died because of their golden child. I pulled out my phone, showing them Ethan's latest Instagram story, a clip of him clubbing in Miami, bottle service glowing under neon lights. The caption, shout out to the fam biz for funding vibes. Explain this, I said. Mom waved a hand. He's young. Let him live a little. With my money? Our money, Dad snapped. Family sticks together. You'd still be a cashier without us. The room tilted. Cashier, that's all they ever saw me as. Flashback, Grandma's funeral, 3 years ago. Rain slapped the cemetery grass as I clutched Lily, just a baby then, to my chest. Ethan stood under Mom's umbrella, smirking at his phone while the priest droned on about eternal rest. Grandma's lawyer pulled me aside afterward, handing me a sealed envelope. Inside was the will, to my Maya the cafe. Keep alive. Mom snatched the paper before I could react. This has to be a mistake. Ethan's the businessman. She left it to me, I said, voice trembling. Dad gripped my shoulder too tight. Be reasonable, Maya. You're a mess. No husband. A baby. Let us handle the legal stuff. For Grandma. I'd been naive, grieving. I'd signed their papers. Biggest mistake of my life. Present day. Back in the cafe, I yanked open Grandma's old recipe box, the one Mom called junk, and dug past handwritten notes for cinnamon rolls and lavender lattes. At the bottom was a key taped to an envelope. For the locksmith, Grandma's cursive read. Change them first thing. Trust me. My breath caught. She'd known. I tore through filing cabinets until I found the deed. Or what was supposed to be the deed. Instead, a sticky note in Mom's loopy writing. In the safe. For safekeeping. No. No. Upstairs, my parents' bedroom was locked. I picked the handle with a bobby pin. Thank you, teenage rebellion, and found a safe under Dad's golf trophies. It was empty. Looking for something? Mom's voice cut through the dark. I whirled around. She stood in the doorway, bathrobe cinched tight, face like a stone. The deed, I said. Where is it? We told you it's complicated. Lawyers' fees. Bullshit. You never filed it. You never intended to. Later that night, Ethan's Venmo was public. Of course it was. At Ethan_DJ King, $2,000 from K Family Fund. Thanks for the vibes. At Ethan_DJ King, $500 from Mama Bear. New gear, let's go. At Ethan_DJ King, $1,000 from K Family Fund. Miami sunsets. Screenshot. I texted the forensic accountant I'd secretly hired last week. Got more proof. How fast can we move? Her reply. Meet me tomorrow. We're taking your cafe back. Ethan's Venmo receipts burn a hole in my phone, but I didn't have time to scream into the void. Not with Lily's daycare closing in 20 minutes and a forensic accountant named Rita waiting at a diner across town. I swiped concealer under my eyes, tossed a granola bar into my bag, and prayed caffeine would carry me through the next disaster. Rita looked like someone who'd never needed concealer in her life. Sharp suit, sharper smile, sipping black coffee like it was vengeance in a mug. She slid a folder across the sticky table. Your parents opened a shell account. Café Renovations LLC. Cute. They funneled $28,000 into it last year alone. I choked on my lukewarm tea. $28,000? The cafe barely made half that. Because they've been skimming profits for years. She tapped a highlighted line. See? Every time sales spiked, holidays, your lavender latte promo, they'd adjust the books. Your brother's BMW? That's your lavender lattes. I stared at the numbers, nausea rising. All those nights, I'd stayed up baking. All the mornings I'd opened early for construction workers who tipped in lint-covered dollar bills, and my family had treated me like an ATM with an apron. What do? I whispered. Rita leaned forward. First, we freeze their access. Then, we rebrand. Make the cafe yours. New name, new accounts, new everything. Cut them out like the tumors they are. Rebrand. With what money? With what time? I had $347 in my personal account, a maxed-out credit card, and a 4-year-old who needed new shoes. Then I remembered Grandma's key. The locksmith took one look at the rusted key and snorted. This for a 1980s safe? Just change the locks. All of them. While he worked, I scrubbed the cafe floor raw, trying to erase Ethan's boot prints from his last tantrum. Lily helped by drawing on napkins with a purple crayon. Look, Mommy, it's you and me and Grandma in the sky. The doodle was all stick figures and lopsided hearts, but something about it stuck in my ribs. Grandma in the sky. That night, after Lily fell asleep, I dragged the cafe's ancient projector out of storage and aimed it at the blank wall. Lily's napkin doodle glowed in the dark, 5 feet tall. A flying cafe with wings, smoke curling from its chimney like a comet trail. Genius, I muttered, snapping a photo. By 2 a.m., I designed a new logo, Lily's Flying Cafe, with the skyline being scrawled beneath it in her crayon handwriting. I ordered stickers, new menus, and a Patreon page offering secret recipes and virtual coffee tastings. All on a credit card my parents didn't know I had. Take that, financial exploitation. 1 week later, Yuri what? Ethan's voice could have shattered the espresso cups. I kept wiping the counter, calm as a bomb defusal expert. Hosting a poetry night. Tuesdays starting next week. No, you can't film it. But my followers love artsy crap. This could go viral. Then buy a ticket like everyone else. He slammed his hands on the counter, his new gold watch glinting. Entitled siblings and their shiny toys. This is my cafe too, Maya. Funny, I don't see your name on the health permits. His face flushed. Mom, Dad, are you hearing this? Mom shuffled downstairs, clutching her robe like I'd dragged her from a coma. Maya, stop being difficult. Let him film. No. Dad appeared behind her, cigar stink trailing like a bad omen. What's the big deal? Family helps family. Family doesn't steal $28,000, I said, too tired to care about the fallout. Silence. Thick enough to choke on. Mom recovered first. Ridiculous. Where'd you hear that? Your shell account. Café Renovations LLC. Ring a bell. Dad's face went slack. Mom's knuckles whitened around the stair rail. Ethan just grinned. Cool name, right? I came up with it. I wanted to throw the espresso machine at him. Instead, I pointed to the door. Out. You're kicking me out of my own house. Your house. I laughed, bitter and sharp. You live in my cafe, and if you don't leave, I'll call the cops and show them your Venmo. His grin died. You're bluffing. I pulled up Rita's report on my phone, holding it out like a weapon. Try me. He left. For now. 3 a.m., 2 nights later. The cafe looked like a unicorn had vomited rainbows. Lily's doodles covered the walls, flying coffee cups, smiley-faced muffins, a stick-figure grandma winking from a cloud. I'd painted the chairs mint green and hung string lights shaped like stars. Even the espresso machine got a makeover with glittery decals. Grandma would have loved this, I whispered, stepping back to admire the chaos. The bell jingled. I spun around, heart in my throat, but it was just Mrs. Ruiz holding 2 thermoses and a bakery box. Saw the lights on, brought fuel. She brought churros. Bless this woman. I pulled up Rita's report. $2,000 for DJ gear, $500 for club entry, $1,000 for. Give me that. He lunged, but I ducked, tossing the phone to Rita. Careful, Ethan, she said, scrolling. Embezzlement's a felony. So's witness intimidation. Silence. Even Dad stopped wheezing. Mom recovered first. You'd send your own brother to jail? Try me. They left. For now. 3 p.m. The smear campaign. By afternoon, Ethan's tearful video was trending. My greedy sister stole Grandma's cafe. Help me save my family. Comments flooded in. Disgusting. How dare she? Family sticks together. Cancel the Skyline bean. I choked back panic, refreshing the page until Mrs. Ruiz's name popped up. Abuela Ruiz. Ask her brother where his BMW came from, or his Miami business trips. Hashtag financial exploitation. Then, a tsunami of regulars. At Single Dad Steve, Maya gave my kids free meals when I lost my job. SDFU Ethan. At night shift nurse. She opens early just for us. You've never worked a day in your life. At retired vet Jim. Hashtag I support Maya. Your move, DJ dumbass. Ethan's legs flatlined. His followers dropped like flies. Lily hugged my leg, clutching her unicorn. Are the bad people gone? Almost bug. Midnight. Changing the locks. The cafe hummed with silence. Rita stood guard while the locksmith worked, drill whining like a pissed-off mosquito. You sure about this? Rita asked. I glanced upstairs where my parents' TV blared Law and Order reruns. They've had 3 years of temporary. Time's up. The new deadbolt clicked into place. Lily pressed her hand against it, leaving a sticky fingerprint. Now, they can't steal our cookies. Damn right, Rita said. The fallout. Mom tried guilt. Where'll we go? You're abandoning us. Dad tried shame. The family will disown you. Ethan tried threats. You'll regret this. I handed them Rita's card. Talk to my lawyer. They packed in silence, suitcases screeching across the floor. Mom took the good silverware. Dad pocketed the cigar cutter. Ethan stole the Wi-Fi router. Classy. 1 week later, the cafe buzzed with new regulars. College kids studying, nurses on break, moms trading parenting hacks over free refills. The Patreon hit 1K subscribers. We even had a merch line, t-shirts with Lily's Flying Cafe and Stay Toxic free slogans. Ethan's BMW got repoed. Karma's a barista, and she works fast. 4 years later, the smell of fresh croissants and Lily's grape-scented markers hit me the second I opened the cafe door. She sat at the counter, tongue poking out in concentration, coloring a sign for today's special. Cloud cookies, drawn by me. Her backpack, covered in unicorn stickers, hung on the chair next to her. You ready for your first day of preschool, bug? I asked, tying my apron. She held up the sign, beaming. I'm going to teach everyone to draw clouds. And cookies. And the bell jingled. A delivery guy wheeled in a crate of flour, eyeing the crowd already lining up outside. You need a bouncer for this place. I laughed. Nah, just caffeine. The Skyline Bean wasn't just surviving, it was packed. Regulars, tourists, even a food blogger, snapping photos of Lily's murals. The secret menu, Patreon, funded a second location downtown, and I'd hired 3 single moms to help run things. Take that, financial exploitation. I was restocking oat milk when a familiar voice cut through the chatter. Maya? Oh my God, Maya. Vanessa, Ethan's ex-fiancée. She looked older, her eyeliner smudged, clutching a toddler on her hip. Hey, I said, wary. Coffee. She hesitated. Just a muffin. To go. As I handed it over, she blurted, he's working at Burger King. Who? Ethan. She lowered her voice. After the eviction, his DJ gigs dried up. Your parents blew through their savings. They're living in some sketchy RV park off the highway. I shrugged. Karma's a better baker than me. Vanessa's kid reached for a cookie. Dada says you're mean. I froze. Your dad, Ethan. She winced. We hooked up after the engagement party. He bounced when Max was born. She handed the kid a cookie. Free, right? Always. She left without thanking me. Classic Ethan's type. Closing time. Lily's first day of preschool left her buzzing. Miss Jenny said I'm an artist, she announced, swinging her legs under the counter. And I told her Grandma's cafe flies, and she said cool. I smiled, polishing Grandma's old recipe book. The spine cracked open to her famous cinnamon roll recipe. Add extra love and butter, scribbled in the margin. The bell jingled. Again. We're closed. Mom stood in the doorway. She looked smaller. Faded floral dress, hair thinning, clutching a Walmart bag like a lifeline. The lavender air freshener stench was gone, replaced by stale cigarettes and defeat. Lily, I said softly, go check on the kittens in the office, okay? She hopped down. Bye, Grandma Ghost. Mom flinched. Silence. What do you want? I asked. She set the bag on the counter. Inside were yellowed photos, me as a kid, Ethan as a baby, Grandma holding me in the cafe's original booth. Your father's gone, she said. Gone where? The hospital. His lungs. The doctor said it's bad. She stared at the photos. Do you want to see you? I slid the bag back. No. Her face crumbled. We're family. Were, I said. You had decades to act like it. Now, get out. She left, but not before whispering, you'll regret this. I didn't. Later that night, Lily's preschool art project hung on the fridge. A watercolor cafe with wings, labeled home in glitter glue. I traced the edges, thinking of Grandma, of stolen money, of Ethan flipping burgers in a grease-stained uniform. My phone buzzed. A text from Rita, second locations, breaking records. You're a machine. Another buzz. An unknown number. It's Ethan. Can we talk? I blocked it. Lily patted in, clutching her unicorn. Mommy? Is Grandma Go sad? No, bug, I said, tucking her into bed. She's finally free. The RV park was easy to find. Rusted trailers, broken bikes, the stink of diesel. I parked outside the gate, watching Mom shuffle to the mailbox in slippers. Dad's obituary had been 3 lines. No services. No flowers. No family. I drove away without rolling down the window. Back at the cafe, Lily's laughter bubbled over the espresso machine. A new mural covered the back wall. A flying cafe with Grandma waving from the window, Lily and me holding hands on the roof. Underneath, in crayon, family is who loves you and doesn't steal your money.